Mo-
Morning Space Chats. Did my voice cut out when
no, I heard
oh,
you.
you cut out. Okay, well,
Oh,
anyway, hello. We are really experimenting with our opening sound and we tried again today with like off record with the flute and the harmonica, and they're just not picking up. There's something very interesting going on with instruments, but we'll keep working on it. Welcome to Morning Space Chats, the Space Cats Happy Hour podcast morning show. Um, you can listen to us on iTunes or you get your podcast or Spotify, and you can watch our videos on Spotify or for free on YouTube. You can also listen to us on YouTube. And you can reach us at spacecatshappyhour@gmail.com with any questions or comments or feedback. I'm here with my delightful co-host, dreadpiratekk. Yay!
hello.
And I am, as always, Zadikat Sun Portal, aka K, aka Canadian KK.
I forgot Canadian KK. That was so good.
That's how we started out, was American KK and Canadian KK.
Oh, those early
Um,
days.
yeah, it's beautiful day here, October 3rd, 2025. And I'm just gonna dive in and get Dread Pirate KK to talk because they have a really big update, and I only know the most tiniest piece of it, I think. So please share your very, very interesting update.
Yeah. I might flail a little bit, so I brought my Mr. Pointy, which I have not introduced on this podcast yet. I've been holding it in my streams on Twitch. Apparently it's a garden implement where you can like put seeds in or whatever. My friend Lee made it for me. And we haven't actually ever used it for the garden, but like I got this literally one of the days that I had this activation and was getting all these Buffy syncs and like we are Buffy and we're stronger than the monsters and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, Mr. Pointy. He had no
Yeah,
idea.
he 100% looks like Mr. Pointy. 100% looks like a vampire slaying
Right?
steak.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we've actually, my friend Allie has never seen Buffy. And so she comes over
Oh,
about every Tuesday and we were watching The Librarians, the TV show, which is like good and everything. But like, I was like, I know it's a little cheesy, but I don't mind cheesy. But do you want to like maybe switch to Buffy since you haven't seen it? And she was like, okay. So we've started watching Buffy, and I'm like, I just feel the whole real big. We've only seen 2 episodes so far, and she is
amazing.
loving the show. So I'm like,
Oh,
yes.
that's so fun.
Yeah. And it's the only, I don't own very many like DVDs or movies or anything like that, but I do own the Buffy box set. And so no commercials, no nothing. I load it into the little console and we watch. So she's
Fuck
coming
yeah.
over on Tuesday again for another round of Buffy. So anyway, I'm holding my Mr. Pointy because this is like my little talisman. Anyway, so
Wait, can I just ask you?
yeah.
Do you have a favorite Buffy episode?
Oh, dang. Good question. It's so hard not to pick the one like the musical one or like the
Yeah.
silent one
Yeah.
where they're all and I don't know, I can't remember honestly. It's so weird because like I have memories of like the overarching themes and like but the minutia of the details of the each individual episodes, I'm like, whoa, that happened. Oh my gosh, I don't remember. And then I'm like kind of watching it fresh all over again. But I do, yeah, I
That's
forget what it's
nice.
called, the silent one. But or is it also the musical? I can't even remember.
No, the silent one is the one where there's like it's happening. It's like those sleep guys that come
This,
at night,
yeah,
and like it's really spooky and very
yeah,
Halloweeny, creepy. And the
yeah.
musical one is very kind of technicolor.
I like them
Um,
both. It's hard
yeah,
to pick. Yeah, maybe that's why I was conflating them because I'm like, but they're so good. I love a good musical. It's funny.
those that great picks. Okay.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Um, I'll come back. I'll
Okay, that's cool.
mull on that
No
while you tell
worries.
your story, and
That's
then
cool.
come back.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, well, I will tell my my story. So I don't remember if I've mentioned the family lawsuit on this podcast or not, but basically back in July of 2022, my uncles sued my mom for the will of my grandparents, and it's been in the courts. It's been like a whole journey, whatever. We were supposed to have a trial.
Which included the properties.
Oh, yes, sorry. That includes the property. I'm living at the Midnight Diner, which is my grandparents' farmhouse. And there are other farmlands that my grandfather owned because he was a farmer. And so there's three properties in total, but I live here and there's a trust for all of it. So like my mom was the executor, and anyway, the greed and corruption, well, all the usual old storylines or whatever. And so I knew it was a very karmic thing that we were all, or they were all working out. And interestingly, you were the first person to we had a mediation back in April, and you had given me the message that like maybe I wasn't supposed to go. And I was like, oh shit. And so I actually did not go. And it was weird because I felt like, the people pleasing, distortions and all this stuff. And I was afraid of breaking the law and all this stuff, but I made myself do it. And it was amazing because I felt an energy shift, and it was like I needed to remove my energy from that. And then before, let's see, this was like a couple months ago, maybe, I had a dream, and it basically, like, long story short, it kind of boiled down to like, it felt like my grandmother was telling me not to go to any more of these things, which meant like the trial that was
Mm,
supposed to happen in November. And so
mm.
that's what I thought we were doing. But then my mom, after this dream I had, a few weeks after that, my mom told me that there was a last minute second mediation scheduled for September 29th. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, well, I'm not going to be going to that. And I even told her, I was like, I had a dream that Pasha told me not to go. And I mean, because I did. And she just was like, okay. Actually, I might have mentioned that in one of our earlier episodes. So anyway, sorry if I repeated anything, but that's just kind of set the storyline. And so I didn't know what to expect out of this mediation because I kind of thought it would be another joke or whatever, like just a money grab and, whatever. And then we were still going to have the trial. So I didn't go. And my mom called me the day after. Uh, wow. And she said it was 14 hours of mediation,
Christ.
right? And that she was dancing around the point, and she was kind of like, well, it ends up affecting one person in particular. And I was like, I knew. And I had to make her say it anyway. And she was like, well, the boys, my uncles, ended up with the property, the Midnight Diner, basically where I'm living. And it's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, but it's hilarious because they don't want this place. They hate it. All they really want is money. I don't really know how this happened, but clearly it
Oh.
was a plan from the universe. Like I knew, even though I was feeling like sucker punched, I was like, there is something going on here that is like bigger than I can, whatever. And she even used the word, like she was crying and she felt she was really devastated and all these things. But she even used the words, it's a clean break. And those words like just reverberated through my body, like, oh, we are done with this. Like they had to just, this is something very, very sacred and important, even though it's very destruction. Like my whole life has been blown up yet again. And I'm like, and I just sat there and I was like, because I was sitting in my rock garden and when I got the news or whatever, and I just was like, I felt the sadness of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to give up my rock. I couldn't even look at the Guardian. I haven't talked about the Guardian on the stream, but the Guardian is my street lamp that I have in at farms in the boonies usually have street lamps, and so I have this private street lamp, and his name is the Guardian, and I love him, and I made a short film about him, and he's just a very meaningful, my electric angel. He's just been there forever, and I couldn't even look at him because I was like, oh my God, I have to give up the Guardian. I was just like this with the big, big emotions and all the things. But even in all of that awfulness, I was still like, there was a buoyancy in my spirit, which was like, this sucks, but there is something, you don't give up something this big without getting something even greater in return. Like something has to, and this is eclipse season stuff. Like the month of September was just like everything ends. The energy of the nine, the endings, everything was just like supercharged. And so I was like, holy crap. And so you know, I'm used to these big upheavals after all these years of dealing with the stuff that we've been going through and whatever. So as I was processing my own loss or whatever, my biggest anxiety came from having to tell Lee, the guy that made me Mr. Pointy. He is my
Mhm.
brother, my pirate brother. Like
Mhm.
he's and it's he's older than me. He's much older, like 25 years older than me, and but he just feels like my brother. And so this is the kind of thing that's not weird to you and me, but like for him, he's like, what? He has no idea. He's like, what are we? And so, but when he's with me, he can decondition from those programs of like how to be friends with someone who's not, it's just a weird relationship, but it's a cool, weird relationship. And he's finally like getting on board with this. He has given so much of himself to this property. He believes in me. He believes in my vision. He doesn't really always understand me, but it's like it doesn't matter that he doesn't understand me. He's like he just loves what I am and what I'm doing and the fact that I am just so focused and like I'm on a mission and I'm going to do the thing and nothing's, so he really admires me. And it's weird to kind of receive that sometimes because I'm used to being kind of dismissed or like ignored or whatever, not listened to, that kind of thing. And he just takes it all in and he's like, you can tell his mind is just like, what the fuck? But he hangs in there with me. Like it's really cool. And on my Twitch streams, I talk about Lemuria and Atlantis and all those things that we normally talk about here. And I send him the YouTube links and he watches them. And he has started to research Lemuria. It's so cute
Oh.
because he's like, yeah, I discovered this thing called the Lemurian seed. And if you're resonating with the Lemurian content, you might be a seed from Lemuria. So he's talking about star seeds, but he doesn't know that word yet. I mean, it's just like the coolest thing because he very
It's
much
so
is,
nice.
right? He very much is. Like I feel like the very Atlantean energy for myself. And yes, Lemurian also. I'm getting in touch with my Lemurian self here and all the things. But he is very Lemurian. He just feels like this energy that is anyway. So we were such a team, or we still are, but like this is talking about this until the change happened. We've been such a team and this partnership is just so beautiful and he has given everything, like invested time. He fixed up my tractor. He spent so much money and time doing that, and he had a good time. He never, he just loves to do things for people he loves, and so I am one of those people. And he's helped me start this garden from scratch. He gave me all this compost and all the seeds and starters for my garden. His wife planted or started some flowers that I planted around my house. He helped me with the rock garden. I mean, this guy has really, I know I'm going on and on about him, but like I'm just saying this is the investment that he has made into me and this, and we had just cleared all these trails. I know we talked about this in the last stream or whatever, or podcast. We'd cleared all these trails and it was just, we were super excited to just, he wanted to leave his thumbprint on this place and he was going to set up a workstation in the barn. And anyway,
Mhm.
all the big dreams. And we were all just so excited. And so I didn't feel as bad for myself because again, I'm used to these things, but I couldn't, I was like, don't ask this of me to tell him that I had, because he's been burned before. That's one of the things that was causing me so much anxiety because one of the things that, some of the hesitancy at the beginning of this whole thing was because he has invested time and energy and resources and all that stuff into other people and helping them do their gardens or projects or whatever. And then they abandon it or they don't take care of it, that kind of thing. And I kept telling him, I was like, I am committed to this, and I showed up for him and I showed up for the garden and I proved that I could. This year was very much a proving ground, not a proving ground like I have to prove my worth, but like showing up for myself and my vision and proving to the earth that I would take care of her, like everything given to me I would steward and be the guardian of, and all that stuff to the best of my ability. And even though I had imposter syndrome and half the time when I was in my garden I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, this is like a professional ass garden and I don't know anything, and I thought I was messing everything up. And it was just a beautiful year of being shown that you don't have to be perfect. You don't, you give what you have, you give your all. And some days, when I was screaming and just like, I can't do any of this, nobody, none of the garden ever judged me. None of the trees ever like they were just like, it's okay. We love you. There is nothing to forgive. You are doing your best. There's a whole lot going on right now. Like, please stop being so hard on yourself. And so it's just been a really interesting year. And so, oh boy, I didn't say anything. I knew I needed to tell him in person, and he was actually coming over the next day to harvest like the sweet potatoes and the squash and then like winterize the garden and just kind of close everything down and just hang out or whatever. And so I had that whole night and whatever to process, like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to tell him this. So he came over and he could tell something was wrong. He could tell, and he was like, let's just have, we're going to get to work right away. And he was like, let's just have some tea, let's hang out, we'll just whatever. And so, oh man. Oh God. And so I told him, I was like, I, good news, the lawsuit is over. It's a clean break. And then I just reached into his little heart and I crushed it. I was like, I have 90 days left to live here. And I just saw the light go out, but it was like I saw the light go out in his eyes and a little the devastation or whatever, but he like no hesitancy whatever. He just, I was prepared for abandonment. I was prepared. I knew he would be nice to me because he's always nice to me, but I figured he would like, oh, this is too much, I need a break, like whatever, which I was willing to get. I was like, I will meet him wherever he is. This is big. I feel like I dragged him into this, which I didn't, but you have the programs that are just like, what the shit. And immediately he just gave me this hugest hug and he was so upset for me. I mean, yes, for himself a little, but it was just like I was the focus. He was never, and he was like, why? And I even told him, I was like, I'm really upset. I'm too nervous to tell you this. Like, I didn't even want to, I know you're going to be upset with me and all this stuff. He's like, why would I be upset with you? It was just like this moment of unconditional love. And we just kind of, we both cried, we both had big emotions, we had, but we just held on to each other. And like, there was some feeling of like, it was, I don't want to take away from what he gave me because he was giving me this unconditional love and support. And I was just like, my heart, I could feel my heart like cracking open and all this like love and light pouring into it because this was so unconditional. And I have not experienced that in my life. I mean, I have that from you and like my girlfriends. I have beautiful unconditional love, but I've never really let you down like that, or felt like I let you down like that. And so this was, I've never this was such a big moment for me, because also it was a man and I have never had male relationships really. I didn't have a dad, I didn't have a brother. I have men friends, but like that's not like this is beyond, this is like a soulmate partnership, like brother, like this whole big experience. And so it was a very divine masculine healing for me and for him. Like I'm this divine feminine force in his life and he's just not used to any of this. And so we just held each other like the dream had died. It was really just like this insanely powerful moment and we were giving each other all this love. And I felt like the earth herself was just like, here's more love. Like, and
Wow.
it just like the healing was incredible. And so we just sat there for a while and we did, after a while he would like wipe away my tears and stuff. It was just like the sweetest, I can't even tell you. This was just like, it was awful and awesome all at the same time. It's really hard to describe. But when you feel that love, and it was like when the love came in, it just kind of washed away, just like this beautiful spring water. And I've described the energy of this place before as like fresh spring water, where it just like gently, beautifully, joyfully just wipes away and takes away the trash, the energetic trash, like the anxiety, the fear, like everything. And I had this calmness and this peace that I was just like, I just wasn't expecting any of this because I wasn't expecting, to be met with love. I was kind of expecting to be met with abandonment. So it was this great, amazing, beautiful healing moment. And we turned it around. Like we did eventually get up and do the garden stuff, and it was hilarious because I had so many sweet potato vines, and I was like, I'm gonna be sweet potatoes are gonna be coming out my ears. But apparently, the soil just had too much nitrogen in it or something, probably from all the clover and stuff, and so I had zero sweet potato.
Oh my God.
But I had a lot of squash, and it was really cool to like do this, final
Interesting.
harvest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also growing a marijuana plant, and he's the one who started it for me, and we planted it back there. So it's kind of like the one that he grew at his garden actually ended up failing. And so mine is the only one that we can now share together. And so, we're both he's really proud of me that I took such good care of it, and all, all this stuff. So he was like, we were going to wait until Saturday to harvest her, but he was like, the weather looks like it might be, we need to harvest her now. So we were like, okay, now we're gonna go and harvest our little, we call her our girl, because she was a little scrawny, thing. And she's just this beautiful blossoming plant.
Wow.
And so we harvested her, and he was like, you know what? You have to dry the weed, and you can't really smoke green bud. But he was like, we're going to take a little bit of this, and we're going to do our best to smoke it just for like a little, I don't know, just because it just felt like a nice ritual, a ceremony, some kind of thing. And we didn't have, like, we knew a regular lighter wouldn't work. We needed more like a blowtorch kind of thing. So we went, and it felt like this inner child kind of journey. We drove to Dollar General to get to get this little lighter, and then we came back, and we were just like laughing and talking, and there was a lot of joy, and we did smoke the butt, and it worked okay. We had to really light the light the thing on fire, but we smoked it, and we got a little bit high, and it was just, I don't know. And then he hung around, and we had great conversations, and yeah, again, there was a lot of grief and a lot of just like, what am I doing? And I I'm I don't know how much I want to go into that, so I might say that for a different day because that's more his business. But
Yeah.
basically, what the plan is, thank God the pirate ship hasn't sold yet. My mom has been trying to sell it for over a year now, so I am going to move back into the pirate
Wow.
ship. But the other part of
Oh,
this story, I
wow.
know, the other part of this is that my mom has obviously feels incredibly like she has big emotions about like me losing my house and all these things, and that she hasn't taken care of me, and all these things. But so what she wants to do is, she knows an Amish guy who will build a pole barn, and there's another family of Amish guys that will do like a housing kit kind of thing where it's like barn siding, but it's also a house, and it's like a two-bedroom house and whatever. So what she wants to do is deed over part of the pirate ship land to me, and build this fresh house, this fresh barn, fresh well, fresh sewage thing, like fresh everything, and provide me this new actual me place to live. And it's going to be
Oh,
partly, it's going to be in the field that kind of is with the big electric substation that's there. I need to update. Oh, there's another, it's an
whoa.
interesting update on this. So anyway, but I'll finish this part first.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it really is, this whole journey has felt like, I know it's a reflection of my own self-worth and my own ability to receive from the people I am supposed to be receiving from, including my mom. So when I first moved here, I moved into the pirate ship. It was falling apart. Like that's why I called it the pirate ship. It was just in a certain state. It was hard to live there, whatever. But she was an upgrade from my previous housing. I felt like I was home there, even though it was hard to live there. And I was just like, wow, this is great. And then I had this upgrade moving into the Midnight Diner, and it's an even better place. It's like more sealed, it's cozy, the heat is better, all those things. And so now I'm moving into this, like, eventually it won't be ready till like next year or whatever, but my mom will have provided me with this third housing thing that is a reflection of, again, my own self-worth and what I'm willing to receive. And like, there's other story, part of this kind of involves like, I don't know, that might be a side tangent that we can go to later, but I've been receiving so many things from friends, and obviously from Lee and whatever. And I had lost a whole freezer full of food over the Virgo new moon back in August. And
Oh,
Lee was
right.
here for that. And he was like, don't you worry about it. You're gonna get a replacement. I'm gonna help you fill it with food, like whatever. It was a great like moment for that. And he gave me, oh God, the day that all of this happened, before I had even told him any of this, he he gave me an envelope full of money.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was like, buy food with this. And that's not even the craziest part of the story, because part of the money apparently was from this guy. Where we had fixed up the tractor was this warehouse, and it's a great warehouse, and I have stories about that, and we'll go into that later. But he was working on Froggy in this warehouse, and in the warehouse this other guy had a studio. He's like a 77-year-old guy. His name is Henry. He makes knives now, like he's a craftsman. He's got the best stories, like he's amazing. And we've talked before. I've met him like maybe twice in my life. Fucking Henry has donated money. He doesn't even know me. I was like, what is
Wow.
happening? So it was just like this whole period of
From men
time.
again.
Right, exactly. So anyway, I'm not super excited about having to do the move. I'm not super excited about losing this beautiful, I can breathe here. Like I was really excited about building my legacy here. I had this download over the last eclipse where the Midnight Diner is actually, part of it is going to actually be a diner with like a farm to table diner kind of thing. And so I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, clarity, like all the next steps in this. And so in amongst all this devastation, as I was processing this loss and everything, I was like, I am the Midnight Diner. It doesn't have to be here. I am both the pirate ship and the Midnight Diner, and no matter where I am, that's where my legacy is. And you can lose everything, and you still are what you are, and you build wherever you are. And I just, the moment with Lee where he met me with that unconditional love, and my heart was full, and everything just felt like it was washing away all the poison and all the everything. I All that was left was love, like, and I have never experienced a gift like that. And I was like, if I had to lose it all again just to get the gift of that love, I would do that. Love literally just changes everything. And he even said, he was like, after all this stuff, like we'd kind of gone, he was ready to leave for the night or whatever. And he was like, I don't regret a single thing. Like I would do it all again. Like all he didn't say time, money, and all that stuff. And he was like, everything I gave, he was like, I would do it again. And I just, so my mind has been blown with like the beauty of all of this, but also, God damn it, I don't want to move. It's a lot, but that should be the wrap up of everything that has happened. So, yay,
Holy shit.
right? Yeah.
um, you, there's a couple of things that were happening in your life leading up to it that I feel are connected. And one of them I'll just talk to you about off air because it's not
Sure.
an on air topic. But
Gotcha.
the bees,
Oh,
the yellow jacket story that you told last week, where you were on you and Lee were working the bush hog and it went over a yellow jacket nest and they
mhm.
got so angry. That for me was part of me in my head was like, that's interesting because the these things, me and another person that we know had these bee sting experiences where it was like the sting happens before and then it's something to do with the collective and your relationship to other people in the community. That's like, it feels like
Right.
a sting, but it's actually like a gift and an activation. And like
Yeah.
the yellow jackets, like their home had been taken from them and they were so angry, but
Oh.
they processed the anger for you so you could just
Whoa.
feel like have an easier time just surrendering and accepting what happened and then just feeling the love part of it.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just so interesting.
You're so right. Holy shit.
Because I was like, that's a massive activation with those bees. Like you got stung so many times.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. That's a really incredible story.
Yeah, it's been a lot the past few days. It was literally
Yeah.
like Tuesday this happened, and it's Friday, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
I just I want to get back to it in a second, but I just want to say
Yeah.
something tangentially, which
Yeah.
is it's very interesting hearing you tell this story and because um just the way with my open whatever it is, solar
Mhm.
plexus or whatever in human design, and like it's the same thing that they talk about with neurodivergent autistic people, where like other people's emotions, you feel them and they're like amplified in you. I'm used to experiencing that a lot of the time with like unpleasant emotions
Yeah.
that, and it's really hard to take because I'm just like in my calm emotional state, and suddenly I'm like overrun with somebody else's emotions. But this time it was like such a powerful emotion of like I was like tearing. I mean, it's a
Oh,
story to make you tear up, but I was just like I was like feeling my body like swell with like the love and stuff. So it's like it was interesting to have like that
a
positive
good
experience.
yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a
Good.
powerful emotion coming out of you right now. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit. I'm wondering if people listening as well
Yeah.
felt it too. Um, but like, I mean, your stories are so often like the power and the willpower that is behind surrendering to things. um it's like a form of willpower that I think we don't always recognize as willpower, being able to to surrender control and surrender to what is being delivered to us as an
Good point.
experience in any given moment, knowing that we're going to be okay. And like the will part is like where your internal self like is able to stay like stable and true to itself and be like, nah, I'm still good, I'm still a god, I'm still like my self-worth hasn't changed, all that, it's like
Good point. Yeah.
super powerful um act of will to be able to surrender. That was just coming to me today independently, but obviously it was
I love
connected
it.
very much to the story because that's also like the initial story that you told way back when with these houses was also so powerful, of how it was like
Oh
first there
my
was
gosh.
this property that wasn't even connected to your family and you had to surrender to that because it was going back near your family, and then that was like this domino effect and boink 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 and you ended up at the pirate ship. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's so incredible though with the men
Oh
as
my gosh,
well.
right?
That's really special, and I'm so happy for you that
Yeah.
you experience, and I'm so happy for you that men are giving you envelopes of cash. That's amazing. That's like very
I
right
know.
on. That's right on is what I will say. Right the
Yeah.
fuck on. And like making sure that you're gonna have food and stuff in your freezer. It's fucking
Yeah.
awesome what you and Lee have been doing together. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
um
It is pretty amazing. Unlike anything I have ever, ever done. And unlike anything he's ever done. And he keeps just being like, he doesn't say what the fuck, but he's like what even is happening or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know. You, we're just figuring it out together.
did and did you say it's a Amish person who's going to, or a Mennonite?
Amish.
Amish,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so interesting too.
I sort of hesitate to say this because I don't want to be I just have mixed, but I got to be honest because I just have mixed feelings about the Amish. Like I fully support anybody wanting to do whatever they want to do and live the way they want to live, and I don't care. But there's something about the energy there, and it's weird. I don't know if it's because people sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like maybe pedestalize them a little bit with like, oh, the craftsmanship is just so great. Where their food is just so much better. I'm like, dude, no, it's not. No, it's. I mean, it's the craftsmanship is better than what you get from Lowe's or something like that, obviously. But like, I just there's a weird energy there, and when I try not to. I try not to buy things from them just because I don't love the energy. And again, this is not coming from a judgmental place. I just don't like the energy. And so it's weird. It's even weirder that I'm going to be, I mean, unless something changes, because everything obviously there's no certainty or everything can change in a second or whatever. So as of now, I will be living in an Amish house. And I'm like, okay, what is going on with that alchemizing of my own something there or whatever? So
Yeah,
that was a
that's
side note, but
I know the Mennonite aren't the Amish,
right.
but there's a big Mennonite population in Ontario.
Oh,
And the place that we were one morning, um, there was this park right across the street from where we were staying. It had beautiful trees, but it had this like path around it that people would like walk. So they would like I would be up in the morning doing my exercises and qigong, and people would like circularly pass and pass. And there was this woman, and I don't have as much. Mike grew up in small rural Ontario, so he's like very familiar with the Mennonite. But this woman wearing this very structured, like gray clothing, dress, and that was just very out of the ordinary for what you normally see. And she just kept circling around. Anyway, it's just interesting
mm-hmm.
that she just kept circling around, and then Mike eventually was. I was like, is that a Mennonite? And he's like, yeah, that's a Mennonite person. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Very interesting.
Maybe there's just some past life stuff with the
Probably.
Amish that's gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I meant to mute. I
Oh,
was
that's
trying to
okay.
mute.
Don't worry about it.
Just
Oh,
I
for
take taking my pill. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna mute for a second. I take my pill with rice.
okay. You're good. I'll just kind of babble on. No, I won't. I don't
All
even
right, I'm
know.
done.
Okay.
Apologies, everybody. Um, wow, what a story!
I know. I am.
Truly,
Yeah.
truly wild. Um, so interesting. It's also just really what I talked about last week, I believe, in the episode. That's the Myth of the Mean Girls episode about spirituality changing and shifting and magic. I talked about how we're moving into a multidimensional reality that's fluid, and so what we perceive as unpredictability is actually just an increase in fluidity. I talked about how more people are coming online and to spirituality and magic from like very varying um backgrounds and levels of experience and levels of confidence in themselves, so that's contributing to the fluidity. And I talked about um how we've been integrating the energy of non-doing versus doing, so that's affecting um things that used to work, like produce reliable successful outcomes in magic and spirituality that may not be so reliable anymore. um, that's a part of it too, is if there's a component of doing and non-doing. But the thing I didn't talk about, I talked about it afterwards in a TikTok, is the other element is um, exactly what your story is an illustration of, is letting go of like um, charting progress and charting success and failure by measuring it by your external reality and by results. So it's like much less results and outcome oriented and much more just like that inner core stays true to itself and committed to its desires and its sovereignty, no matter what's going on externally. And it's not, it's like the thing that they say with the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot, it's like the wheel moves, and if you're on the outside of the wheel, you're going up and down, and you're blah, and if you're on the inside of the wheel, you're like stable kind of thing. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to add that to what I was talking about last week.
That's a really good point. I love
As
I
things
didn't even,
become, and
yeah,
I was just also going to say,
yeah.
in the thing that first got me, like the first thing that came in that really got me thinking about the fluidity of multidimensional reality was our galactic origins tarot deck, where they talk about the Andromeda energy and the way they describe the experience of the Andromedans is like reality is constantly like if you were walking down
Yeah.
a sidewalk, everything would just be constantly changing around you, but you're just like you stay you, like, and you, that's the part that remains steady and stable
Mhm.
is you. So
Mhm.
I think um Andromeda must play a big role in this shift as well.
I think you're right. I've been feeling whenever, as soon as I started connecting with that card deck, I was like, oh my gosh, it felt so connected to Andromedan energy. And even though I'm not like a big, let's do a lot of change kind of person, it's like I still felt
I
there
think
was
maybe you
something
are,
there. Okay, maybe I am. Yeah. I don't know if
with
I,
the amount of change
that's true. Fuck.
that, not only in the time that I've known you, that you've gone through, but also just in describing your life, the number of different places you've lived in and
Good
different
point.
jobs that you've held.
You're right. It's so funny because I feel like I'm resistant to change a lot, where I'm like, I don't want anything to change. And then all of a sudden stuff does, like, it's like not against my will, but obviously, but like, I'm like, no, it's like the Aquarius, like my fixed placements, my Aquarius is like, mm-mm. But then Pisces and Virgo is all this mutable energy. And I have a lot of that in my chart too. And so I'm just like, okay, wherever we go. So it's like, so
I
I
think
feel
you're
like,
maybe so fluid a being that you put in a lot of resistance to like
maybe.
um kind of have that experience of growth through this life, because
Makes
and
sense.
like experiencing like a changing inner feeling towards it, because you just feel like
Yeah.
I'm working through that stuff, or I'm so tired of saying I'm working through things, because I'm really not
Done with
work.
work.
Oh yeah, I'm really really feeling it lately of being done working through things. But this whole, anyway, I don't want to talk about time frames because it could relate to any time frame really, but there's so much of that too, where I think I am also a really fluid person, and I think I'm probably a person or a being, like, I think my energy signature is typically very fluid and not very materialistic in the sense of like holding on to objects, because that's where I tend to get really crunchy,
Mhm.
is losses of material things, like chasing after losses, trying to turn a loss into not a loss kind of thing, instead of
Mhm.
just moving on and accepting. So I think it's probably the same thing, where it's like, actually you care so little about that stuff that we had to like kind of load it up to,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so you could have like a human karmic soul journey about that experience.
Hmm.
I mean, there's probably also stuff like just in the soul journey that has to do with like change and loss, where we do have that aspect of ourself that is more resistant to it. But I just feel like the majority shares of your energy
Mm,
signature are very change forward.
that's so funny. It's been a real interesting year of seeing myself through other people's eyes and like getting to know parts of me that like I just didn't, like what you just said about the change and stuff. I was like, "Oh my God, you're absolutely right. How did I not see that?" And it's really cool to uncover these things because I've been most of the things I've been discovering about myself, especially this year, have been really positive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm that cool. Like, yeah, you are. So it's been interesting.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even know if I have more to share today so much. I
Okay.
definitely have all these topics like bubbling up inside, but
Yeah.
it feels like this was pretty much the episode.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good to me.
I was just going to share some, there's been a lot of, it's really interesting. Um, just like a little few tidbits. There's been a lot of really interesting stuff coming out of China. The energy of China right now
Oh, what's going on?
is like we're just having like these leaps and advancements and things. They've been doing crazy, huge. They've been doing the biggest, largest reforestation project on the planet.
Oh,
And in 2024, they there were 7.64 million hectares of forest planted.
oh my God, that's
Yeah, they have
incredible.
this project called the Great Green Wall. Um, and they
Wow.
just developed this thing called bone glue that's based off the biology of how oysters build their shells, but it like heals bones in like seconds or
Oh
minutes, and you
my
don't have to
God.
have like surgery and put in like metal
Wow.
rods and stuff. So they're just like there's a lot of really
Wow.
very interesting stuff coming out of China that has been coming into my field.
Awesome to hear that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
passing that on. And there was another one, there was a third one too, but I can't remember now. Also, this is I'm not going to be able to summarize this at all. And this is Japan, not China, but that's interesting that it's also East Asia. Um, a team of researchers from Kyoto University and Hiroshima University successfully developed a new quantum entanglement measurement capable of identifying the W state. I have no idea what that is, but what it paves the path for is quantum teleportation. Like,
Dude.
and I don't know like how, you know,
Yeah.
how in like if it's just like theoretically paves the path or like I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's big news, right? It's like
Yeah.
this movement
Hmm.
around quantum teleportation, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
um so I have the link to that I can put in the show notes for anybody. I mean, it is dense. I was trying to read it and I was like, maybe, you know, like usually I can follow, but this stuff I was like, no, I'm not
Not so
following at
much.
all. It was so um hyper specific language.
Yeah.
um
I feel like that stuff comes into our awareness or like into the collective when we're ready for like a big whole leap in I don't know what I'm trying to like just getting the masses ready for the big body changes that are coming. And I again, you're right, like linear time, I don't who knows, but like it's getting closer. We can all
Definitely
feel it.
already experiencing the big body changes.
Oh
My
yeah.
what I described in the episode Hello from the Other Side, where I had fallen and had fainted and fallen onto concrete and hurt my face and had to get stitches in my chin. And then a week later, it was like I was almost completely healed, like the super rapid like healing. There was like a really weird aspect of it, which I'm sure somebody could probably explain. But so part of it, so the chin itself, like once the stitches were gone, there was like this hard lump, and I couldn't tell if it was scar tissue or collagen
Mm.
or what.
Hmm.
And also there was like it felt like a big dent, like it felt like a chunk had come out of my chin and jawbone, like it went
Whoa.
in, and I
Weird.
really didn't like it.
Hmm.
And I didn't like how it felt and looked. And so I was doing this thing. It was a combination of doing and non-doing,
Yeah.
where I would like I could smoosh it down. The bump in the chin, like it was like a quite a deep indentation jump, and I was like, I don't know what to do about that. That just went away. Um, like yeah, it was so weird because like my two sides of my chin just felt completely different, and one of them felt like super pointy, and yeah, it had like this huge jagged
Oh,
indentation in
weird.
it, and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling that for myself. Um, but the bump was like a wad of chewing gum size, you know?
Mm.
So it was like poofing out. So I would like smoosh it, and I could smoosh it and smoosh it down and kind of crunch it down and then flatten it. And then I would go to bed and I would wake up and it was all back again, but gradually. And then I would have to take time off from smooching it and just leave it doing it. And then gradually, and I just smooshed it and it went further and further down. And then there was still this aspect where my chin wasn't feeling the right shape. And then I was just like kind of like remolding it with the remaining stuff. It was
Ooh,
really weird. I was just like
cool.
moving it around and remolding. And now it feels like completely parallel. So, which could be
Wow.
just any number of avenues to take there. Like it could have been just shifting into the version of me that
Hmm.
didn't have the thing in the
Yeah.
first place, or I just experienced some weird like malleability and like being able to like reform my own like skeleton and like cartilage.
Amazing. Amazing.
But it's yeah, it's completely normal. Oh yeah, I had just a couple more things. One of them is a funny thing, but I have to go find where did I put it? But the other thing I wanted to mention today is that was an interesting shift. So I've been doing these your 4 minute strength
Hmm.
training workout that you sent me, which is really great, which is very much of the less is more and do less to and expect bigger results. I've been getting like look at my
Muscles.
yeah,
Yes.
look at my biceps. And it's like
Amazing.
literally doing from this like tiny, like you're
Oh,
just like
wow.
doing lifting your arms above your head and going. It's so I've been getting,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Awesome.
I'm seeing crazy results with that. And I've also been doing Qigong, which is like some of it's more energetic, but a lot of the ones I do are more like slow paced and like they're a bit more meditative. And it's like these movements and stretches and um that are really good for your organs and your lymphatic system and all sorts of things.
Awesome.
Um, so I've been going out, and I started off just going around the corner because I wasn't able to go far for walks still. So I would just go around the corner and do it at the church, um, in front of the church. That's just around the corner, and that's where I fell and hurt myself. And I would do it, and then sometimes I would go up the street to where there's this big nice tree that I really like, and I would do it in front of that tree, but it's like right outside this people's houses and stuff. And I had this feeling of like self-consciousness because people would just pass by anyway, and I was so thin. Being so thin gave me a huge feeling of self-consciousness. And I was feeling like people were like seeing me as, I felt like the coyote, like
Yeah.
just seeing me as like this ne'er do well because I looked really thin and haggard.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, that's been like slowly going away. But suddenly today, I've started going to the park, but I was still always doing it alone. And then suddenly today, I was just surrounded by
Well,
people everywhere I looked who were doing stretches, or one man was doing Tai Chi, or this other woman was doing these like leg swings. But they were all doing it like, it's just suddenly it was like I was in community with all these other
interesting.
people in doing things out in the open like that.
Cool.
Um,
Or did you like it? Or was it
no, I
annoying?
did.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, oh, that's nice to see. And then I was, because it was like more isolation stuff. And then I was leaving the park and I'd walked across the street and I was just at the, um, on a residential street, and I passed this elderly Chinese lady. I live in, we live in East Chinatown in Toronto, which is there's like five Chinatowns, I think. East Chinatown is the littlest one. Um, so this elderly Chinese lady was passing by, and she was like, "Hello, good morning." And I was
Oh,
like, "Oh, hello,
so
good morning."
nice.
She's like, "How are you?" I was like, "I'm good, how are you?" And then she was like, "Tai Chi." And I was like, "Tai Chi?" And for a sec, because of how many I was like, "Does she just intuit that I was in the park doing Qigong, but she's calling it Tai Chi, like next to the man
Yeah.
doing Tai Chi?" And I was like, "Tai Chi?" And she was like, "Tai Chi." And then I said, "Oh, is that what you're on the way to do?" And she nodded, and she was like, "Tai Chi." And I was like, and
Oh.
then she was like, "Have a good day now." And I was like, "You have a good day now too." And then the interaction, I just started
Oh.
crying.
Oh.
And I've had a few moments like that since my recovery. Um, they've all been with Asian people, I just realized.
Interesting.
With this the guy that the energy somatic worker that I went to get a massage from, and then the guy that I went to get a haircut from, who was like a new hairdresser. Um, where just the act of having someone touch my body, I started to cry because it was just like I'd felt so isolated and alone, even though I had Mike, like just another person who is not Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like in a normal circumstance, I started to cry during the session, and again, getting my haircut, I started to cry because I was like, this is such a normal thing to do, and
Yeah.
it was just like, and then just having this lady be like so friendly and joyful and like that connect,
Mm.
I was just like, yeah, I was like
Wow.
really moved by
Yeah.
it, and
That's amazing.
I think it's just yeah, just like coming out of like such a profound feeling of
Mhm.
isolation.
Yeah. You've been
That was like,
through it.
yeah, um,
I'm glad
just
you're
like the
getting,
most isolated I've ever felt in my entire life.
yeah.
And it went on for so long. Anyway, it was really, really nice to have that connection. She was just like,
Oh.
all she just wanted to be was like, I do Tai Chi. This is so cute.
That's
Um,
adorable. I love it.
so
I'm
that was
glad you're finding that those experiences because it's human touch is very, and community is just very incredibly important. Like we cannot survive without it really. And I'm learning the same thing, obviously, in my little way with Lee and stuff. And um, I don't know. I'm really happy for us because it feels like a real turnaround. Like we've been in such isolation for so long, and then it like magnified for you so hard over this.
yeah.
I mean, it's whew. So I'm happy to hear that.
And then, okay, so then this is the funny thing. So, um, we were, oh yeah, Point Pelee, we got back from we went, that
Oh
was like such a
yeah,
huge milestone too.
what
Okay,
a trip!
I'll talk just a little bit about
Yeah,
that. Um, so Point Pelee is like the southernmost point in Canada, and it's right on the migration path. So, as avid bird watchers, Mike and I
yeah.
have been wanting to go there together for such a long time. And then he was like, let's we should do it. And then I was like, yes, it's going to be in late September because as soon as fall comes, I want to get away, which is very early for me with like all of uh, my dietary stuff and like my regimens and my
Mhm.
sleeping and everything has just become so
Yeah.
regimented. Um, so I made a one of those. Do you know on TikTok those videos where it's like the nun 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 Italian
Yeah.
song, and it's like
Yeah.
things that just make sense. I made one of those, and it was like things we brought from home to a 3-night Airbnb stay that just make sense. We brought a full standing hammock. We bought like a tall standing fan. We brought my weighted blanket and pillows and like all our bedding from home.
Nice.
We
Good
brought
idea.
my 2 sound machines and a power bar so we could plug everything in. We bought a huge tub of Vaseline for dry lips, but it's like we had like the full size tub. And then
Amazing.
we brought a potato peeler because I like mostly we brought like all I had prepped all the food in advance and put it in Tupperwares so we could just heat it up in the microwave. But then we also bought a few for the last day. Anyway, so it was just like, and the place was tiny. So the hammock, which Mike ended up sleeping inside was like, it was just very hilarious. And the place had multiple rooms, but it had no doors. So I built myself a door for the bedroom. I pushed the chest of drawers up in the doorway and piled it with pillows and cushions every night. Like there was so many things of like cuckoo town that we had to do in order for the to be able to like relax into the vacation.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. One of the most amazing thing about it was, I mean, we saw all these new birds and we went on this trail that goes through the marshlands as well as the forest. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. But what I wasn't expecting with the birds was we saw literally thousands of blue jays. It was just like every day there would be like these huge groups of blue jays, like 30 to 40 at a time, flying over the park, stopping on the trees and then keeping going. And then another batch would come through like every single day, just and throughout the day. And they were so loud, but it was so cool. And I love blue jays. And it was just like, I've never seen so many goddamn blue jays in my life. I didn't even know that they moved in such big groups.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
I was definitely not expecting you to say blue jays. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. And it was really magical. Oh, the first night, the sunsets were spectacular. I think we saw every sunrise and every sunset too. And we were like a literal 2-minute walk from this beautiful beach that was like near the woods. So we had the woods, this lovely park, and the beach. And the first night the sun set, like there was like a crown on top of the sun. It was the way it set, it was just so gorgeous. So I found some interesting things. So I had a dream right before I left that was one of the most amazing dreams of my life, because I just spent what felt like hours and hours and days, like in real time, connecting with this whale who I was hugging and cuddling. And it was a whale that was a dog whale, but it sometimes looked like a large catfish. So we were in Lake Erie, and the Great Lakes are super mystical. They have all sorts of crazy energy. We were in Lake Erie, and I found these 3 things. So the first one was this huge, so it's a really big bone, and it's like the size, it's like bigger, longer than my hand. Cool. And I would not have expected it to be. It looks like a thorax, or like,
say, what even is
or
that?
like the snout of a warthog. But because it's kind of got an anchor shape and like long part. But I looked it up afterwards, and it's the part of a jaw of a catfish.
What?
Yeah. And it's another interesting thing about it. I don't know if you can see here, but it's called like the Jesus on the cross catfish, because it looks like Jesus with his arms outstretched.
Holy shit.
So it's like a very mystical.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that's cool. And then
that's cool.
I found this little mammal femur. I looked it up. It's a femur bone.
Wow.
That is very likely a raccoon, possibly a fox, both of which are animals that are like deeply, deeply significant to me. But the third thing I found, so there's this artist, Girl Talk, back in like the 2010s, and he would sample all these songs, and I loved him. He would sample all these songs over each other. But so there's this snippet of this one song that's like, wait till you see my dick. It's actually like, I went back and listened to it, and I thought it was wait till you see my dick, hey girl. It's already quite aggressive and creepy, but it's actually wait till you see my dick, hey bitch. But anyway, I sing it all the time in my head. Wait till you see my dick, hey girl. Wait till you see my dick. So I had it going in my head, but I don't know if it was Mike or me, but we like sang it out loud as like, where did I put my dick? So then that was like we were just singing it over and over. I was like, where did I put my dick? Hey girl, where did I put my dick? Cut to
Oh my God.
in Lake Erie,
Oh my God.
this huge dick shaped, it's like even dick shaded, like it
It
even has
really
like
is.
the coloring of like
I
a
am dead.
Caucasian dick.
I
It
am
even
dead.
has like the scrotum and the balls. It's like, so I found it. I was like, where did I put my
Where
dick?
did I?
Apparently, I put it in Lake Erie.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
You are.
So
Oh
those are my
my
treasures.
God.
But other than that, it was just like if you had told me 2 months ago, 4 months ago, 7 months ago that I would be able to go on this
Oh,
like a getaway,
yeah.
like it just felt so impossible in
Yeah.
those points. And so the actually being able to do it and have a really nice time is just it's like profoundly, profoundly
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh my
grateful
God.
for it. Yeah, and
Yay.
the fucking Blue Jays.
And the Blue Jays. Oh
Holy
my God.
Jesus. Um, all right. So I did talk a little bit more. Sorry about that,
Good.
guys.
Oh, I love it.
Um, and what a tale we have heard today from you. Um, love you, Space Kitties.
Love you, Space Kitties.
Please don't forget to go rate us where give us a 5-star rating, whatever platform you're seeing us on, or give us a like on YouTube or subscribe so you can boost us so we get more people. And yeah, that's it. Happy October, guys.
See you next time.
Cheerio.